Good morning. I am pleased to greet the Japanese chairmanship and delegates at this important UN Congress on crime prevention and criminal justice. I would like to touch on a sensitive point that I believe of fundamental importance for crime prevention. I am referring to prisons, the treatment of prisoners, and above all, the rehabilitation activity necessary for their reintegration into society, linked to the idea of justice as reconciliation. Much has been said and written about the nature and purpose of penalty. Today, we can say that modern society agree on the fact that treatment in prisons must always ensure full respect for the individual and that the punishment should aim at rehabilitation, re-education, and the return of the offender to social life. The time spent in detention is not a time of mere waiting, but it must be a time of change, aimed at the social reintegration of the offender. This need has been embraced by the international community, and the UN itself adopted minimum standards on condition of prisons defined in honor of the great South African leader, the Nelson Mandela rules. Also my country, which I have the honor to represent today as Minister of Justice, considers that standard rules essential in an increasingly committed and respect and rehabilitation of detained persons. These principles are also written in our Constitution, which states in its Article 27, paragraph 3, that punishment must not be inhuman and shall aim at re-educating the convicted. I believe that today, gathered in a global forum, we cannot but ask ourselves how our legal system ensures that punishment is never a revenge, and it rather points at hope. Hope for the convicted persons and hope for society. Despondere spem unum nostrum, spreading hope is our task. This is the motto of the prison police in my country. We must give those who have made a mistake the opportunity to repair the prejudice caused to the offended people and to society through positive and responsible action for the future. Building upon these principles, the Italian prison system has increased the opportunity work for detainees, developed training activities, empowered inmates through individualized form of treatment. The community work project responds to this notion of penalty, being an innovative model of social inclusion. Agreements have been signed with municipalities, metropolitan areas, public institutions, private sector entities, and large companies interested in starting collaboration to promote the social and occupational reintegration of individuals serving their sentences. The number of these agreements is constantly increasing and testify to the incremental overcoming of cultural barriers between prison and free society. The number of inmates involved in community work, such as road maintenance, maintenance of public parks, restoration of environmental heritage, is now significant. These activities are supplemented by education and training courses aimed at developing prisoner skills, which will prove to be valuable for their integration into society and consequently for a significant reduction in the rate of recidivism. Ladies and gentlemen, statistical and sociological data show that to a more constructive prison treatment corresponds a lower level of recidivism, which in turn leads to an increase in the level of public security. and appropriate prison treatment is essential for crime prevention. In this context, I would also like to mention a special project, I Redeem Myself for the Future, based on an agreement between Italy and Mexico under the auspices of the UN Office on Drugs and Crime. A further development of this notion of penalty that looks at the future is given by the experimentation of form of the restorative justice, once again inspired by the South African experience with the Commission for Truth and Reconciliation. As that page of history teaches, the idea of justice as reconciliation must not step back, even in cases of serious offenses. I believe that our society can do more, or to use Gustav Radbruch's famous word, can do better by focusing on models of criminal justice based on mediation, conciliation, and reparation, and thus promoting the overcoming of the conflict, bringing the offender, the crime victim, and the community together. In short, we can and must seek together wider room for action in order to achieve a better justice. Meeting like this 14th UN Congress on Crime Prevention and Criminal Justice are precious opportunity for sharing views and sharing experiences. We must move forward together in the field of crime prevention, aiming at the goals set by the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Thank you very much.